Here we are with CLC's own. Everybody knows him as Mr. Frank, but we just gonna ask him some questions today. He's one of the icons I would consider. Uh, he's an icon. Somebody we talked about yesterday, and today we're gonna get to learn a little bit about Mr. Frank. All right. So, Mr. Frank, what are your name? What's your name for real? Is your name really Frank?
It's really Frank.
Okay.
Frank Jones.
Okay. Frank Jones.
I know a lot of people don't believe it because it sounds too plain.
Uh-huh.
A normal name, American name. So but that's what it is, Frank Jones.
Okay, Frank Jones. Now, a lot of people don't know, but you are a very active person in the community, especially here at Bethel Church, but also as well in the City Life Center. But at Bethel Church and the City Life Center, it's all a part of your business, right? So how long have you, first of all, when did you start having your own business? And I don't mean like minding your own business, because people need to do that. Maybe I'm not doing it now, but how long have you had your business?
Well, me and my wife have been in business since 2012, when we used to live in California.
Okay.
And pretty much almost that's where we get the name California Jones from, in a way. So it's like
okay.
Since 2012, and then we moved here in order to help take care of our parents who were ill, elderly, and we weren't planning on continuing the business, but then a need came about in the city where people were asking about some things about catering, and so we started our business again here in 2015. Yeah.
Okay. When you were in California, when you and your wife decided to go into business together, which it takes the Holy Spirit for that, keep the couple together during business.
Yeah.
But when you guys, what made you start doing that in California?
Well, pretty much what happened was I just used to cook, just normally for my family, and they would bring friends over. They loved the cooking, my wife's cooking, and then one day per se, we used to live right next door or behind a park. My wife used to walk her dog with other people in the area, and I would be cooking in the back, and people said, "Oh, man, it smells so good. I want to have some." So I started sharing the food with the several people that were there. One of the ladies that had the food was overwhelmed by the taste of the food, and she said, "Hey, a month later, it was for the 4th of July, she said, I want you guys to cook for me and my family. I got family coming in from out of town. I want you to cook for me." I said, "Well, it's not a business. We just do this, just to be doing it." And so from there, it says, I guess I need to start a business. And that's how it pretty much happened. And so you can thank Miss Joyce for that.
We want to thank Miss Joyce for that, because, hey, Frank, they can cook, man, for real. I think sometimes it's the only reason why I still stay around. I'm like a squirrel. You get something good. What's that, Ratatouille, the movie Ratatouille? You produce the good food, you gonna keep me around. So I think, so yes, definitely I can agree with that. You say you moved back to Gary in 2015?
Yeah, I moved back here in 2013, the end of 2013, but we didn't start the business till 2015.
Okay, what's some of the things that you've noticed that was a necessity in Gary since you've been back? Like, you are a guy who springs into action. That's kind of who you are. What are some things that you've noticed that you may have be of service to when you came back to Gary?
Well, one thing is that let me put it this way. I used to live in a place in California, in Fremont, California, and the very year that we were moving back here, or the year before that, it was noted as being in Time magazines the third best city to live in America. So that tells you quite a bit. It had a variety of things and availabilities for all people. The medium income for that area was probably, I think at that time, it was $93,000. That's the median income. And so coming here to Gary, there was a vast difference. In the vastness of difference, it was pretty easy to see all that Gary might have lacked. And one of the things is that we were looking for somebody to maybe do some cooking for a particular event, and no one couldn't find people in Gary. And it's still somewhat difficult, but it's we realized that people needed that, as well as when we looked around, is that if you wanted to really get some type of decent kind of food from a grocery store, a supermarket, whatever, you had to go outside of Gary to pretty much find it. And that was pretty bleak, what I'm saying, for the neighborhoods to realize that, man, there's certain neighborhoods you can go into and say there is no grocery store anywhere here within a decent amount of miles from it. You have to go far away for it. So those things were things that really touched me, because what I recognized then is that Gary was a food desert. And in recognizing that there's something that you wanted to do and provide, especially for children, wanted to provide healthy meals for kids, you know what I'm saying? So we started, that's when we started a business, and we hooked up with CLC, and in doing so, to help them with their summer food program. And the things that my wife incorporated, things at home, we incorporated in the business, especially for children, is that we always try to sneak in healthy food and ingredients into the foods that kids would love. And if you don't tell the kids what you put in things, sometimes, as long as it tastes good, they're gonna eat it. And that's what we found out. There was a lot of things that we were cooking that was very healthy, that the children were eating, and we were wanting to make sure that they got healthy foods, because you started finding out through parents that they were doing their grocery shopping at convenience stores or at the convenience store within the gas station. And most of the time they were getting just chips, you know what I'm saying, and sweets. And so we wanted to make sure that they had a healthy meal at least once or 2 times a day, and something that can sustain them. And so we really believe that if the kids eat better, their brains work better, which means they're able to learn better. And a lot of times it definitely has to do with their brain, but it has a lot to do with their health as well. So,
that's what's up. That's definitely dope. All right, I'm gonna let you go with this last question. All right. This is a hot seat question. All right, see, getting hot.
Okay.
You feel it. You feel the
You
fire.
put the warmer on.
I know. It came out of nowhere. Sorry, that's because it's such a hard pressing question. But what's your dream for your business? Is it limited to the city of Gary? But specifically, in two-part question. One, what's your dream for your business in the city of Gary? And then, is it limited to the city of Gary?
That is a good question. My vision or dream for my business in the city of Gary is to really help in the transformation of Gary being a food desert. And the reason why Gary is a food desert is because of something that's somewhat of a new term, is that it's because of food apartheid. And so food apartheid is somewhat different term than a food desert, and food apartheid is more encompassing. Food desert tells you that you lack the healthy foods that are needed in the area, but when you talk about a food apartheid and coming against that, you're coming against the systematic means and ways that cities are turned into food deserts. So I would like to be involved in transforming Gary from being a food desert and filled with food apartheid to a place where they have plentiful ways and means in order to receive and purchase healthy produce. One of the things that I like to really push is produce. There's a lot of people in the area who are really involved in, as well as doing that as well. So I want to come together with everyone, and I would love in some kind of way in order for us to build, you know what I'm saying, when we have businesses growing up here and we're going to see people growing, because I really believe people are going to grow, the city's going to grow, and as it grows, we need to make sure that we supply good, healthy foods and the availability of it in the vast areas of the city. And I like to do that here, and I like to use, as a matter of fact, if I could, I'm trying to get in connection with some of the African-American farmers through the African-American Farmers Association, where there are plenty of us here in the America, and we need to get together so that we can help supply the foods in the areas that are depleting, because those areas are usually African American as well as indigenous and brown people in America. So if we can help and come together and bring our resources together in order to supply the very healthy foods that are necessary for people to live physically as well as emotionally and mentally better by, and even spiritually, it would definitely help out. And so I believe in the way that the Bible puts it is that, you know, it's a principle there that you must start pretty much home. And what it says, you start in Jerusalem, then you go to Judea, Samaria, and to the othermost parts of the world. So before I can start trying to transform and help other cities, I want to make sure I help the city where I am located. So the vision is to help out Gary. After you help out Gary, then we can see from there how things can be extended in order to help other people to do the very same thing in their own cities. And so that we can eliminate this food apartheid and the food deserts altogether and allow people to get the food that is necessary. So that's pretty much.
That was real good. That's from Uncle Frank Jones. As y'all see, he got vision, man. Even though he wear glasses, ain't nothing wrong with his vision. Some of y'all gonna miss that. But we definitely thank you for taking the time to drop these jewels and these truths. There's an old song that they used to say, sweep around your own front porch before you try to sweep around mine. Right? And I think you are definitely somebody who has no problem dealing with the front porch part of it. So we appreciate that. And this was good. And this interview was great. All right, thanks.